What's up, guys? Notorious here, and today I'm going to be presenting you guys a little bit of Kill Confirm on Stronghold. This is Ari's gameplay. I think this was hardcore Kill Confirm because I don't see any score sheets or anything. I don't see any weapon count or anything, so I don't know what's going on. It's probably hardcore, so I'll just go with it. But it's a pretty good gameplay, 24-11, and I'll just deal with it. So yeah. But today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the Seattle Seahawks versus the Minnesota Vikings, and they play 1 o'clock on Sunday, this Sunday coming up. So there's been some breaking news that I just recently got. Marshawn Lynch is officially out for this game, and Ian Rappaport tweeted this. He said the Seahawks officially ruled out Marshawn Lynch for the game. He told the team he felt like he couldn't do it. Stunner. So man, that's not Marshawn Lynch like kind of comments right there. But I'm not here to talk about his comments. I'm here to talk about that he's out, and this can really change a lot against the Minnesota Vikings, because I think the temperature listed on Sunday is going to be like 1 degree, and that could be one of the coldest games in NFL history if that's true. But it's going to be really cold, and you need a running game. And I don't know if they have a running game. They have Russell Wilson's arm, but it's not easy playing in the cold like that. And the Vikings, they have Adrian Peterson, so if he can just run over the team, then they'll win the game. But they did meet up earlier in the regular season, and Teddy Bridgewater did not have a really good game. He only completed 61% of his passes. He only had 118 yards and no touchdowns, 1 interception. His passer rating was 55.4, so it wasn't a good game for him. They got stomped by the Seahawks. But he's not, I don't think he's going to do anything special for this game. But if Adrian Peterson can run this team to the ground, the Seahawks defense, which is not going to be easy. Legion of Boom and the front seven, they're studs. But if he can do that, then I think they'll win this game. This game, since Marshawn Lynch is out for this game, I might give it to the Minnesota Vikings. Cold weather and Seattle. I wouldn't rule Seattle out of cold weather. They played some cold weather games, but they haven't played anything like 1 degree before. But on the other side of the coin, the Vikings, they haven't played in cold weather as much either. Kind of for 2 seasons, but the past years and years they played in the Metrodome, which was a dome. So, but they also played in Green Bay, so it's frigid cold over there too. So they're kind of used to it. And going to Chicago, so I think 1 degree is not going to be too bad of a big deal for them. So, but Seattle, they don't really play a lot of sub 32 degree temperature weather. But I think Skip on first take said Russell Wilson and his team. I think the only time they've played in sub 32 degrees was last season against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think they lost that game. And that time people were worried about, then they're pretty much out of the playoffs. But they ended up going back to the Super Bowl. So don't roll the Seahawks out ever. We were like that earlier when they went, I think 4-4, but then they wanted to roll, and they ended up going 10-6 and earning a wild card spot. So congratulations to them. But I'll probably go with the Minnesota Vikings. What should I go with? I'll probably go, let's say, I'll go 14-10, estimate scores. That's what I'm going to go with, 14-10 Minnesota Vikings, just because Marshawn Lynch out, that's going to be a big deal. The last time they played, it wasn't a big deal because the weather was perfect. It wasn't too cold, and Russell Wilson just, threw on that Vikings defense all day. But they had some key player out. Anthony Barr was injured up a bit, and that nose tackle, I forgot his name. Dang, I'm bad. But he was out too. But I think everyone's healthy coming into the playoffs. So I think the Vikings can pull an upset. Seattle was a 5-point favorite, but I don't know what the odds makers are now doing with the score since Marshawn Lynch is out. And I didn't know, at first he was listed as questionable, but then he's ruled out. So I don't know. I'm kind of concerned about Seattle now. Let me see, NFL.com. Yeah, he will not play against the Vikings. So that's probably the biggest reason why I have Minnesota winning this game. But if Seattle can win this game, that's very impressive. Cold weather and against this good defense, I'll be impressed. But that's pretty much all I have to say. Marshawn Lynch is out, and this is big news. And this could be good for the Carolina Panthers. So if the Seahawks don't win this game, they don't have to play Seattle. I'd rather play Green Bay or Washington than the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are a tough team, and they played earlier in the year too. But Seattle was a little down, but now they're hot right now. So if they beat the Vikings this week, then Carolina, you better watch out for these Seahawks. I don't think Carolina's going to beat Seattle. How Seattle's playing right now with that offense and that good defense. So yeah, but I think that's pretty much wrapping it up. And 19-9. Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much over, and that's all I pretty much have to say. And again, Vikings, they're gonna win this game. They're gonna go 14-10. I think Adrian Peterson's gonna have a pretty good game, but Seattle, they haven't had a lot of 100-yard rusher in like 20 plus games, so maybe this is the time where Adrian Peterson breaks the streak for them. 100 yards, I think so. With that kind of weather, you need a running game. That's just the way it works. Your arm. Quarterbacks don't really do the best in cold weather games. You can check the past games in NFL history, not the best games. So yeah, but I think that's everything, guys. I'm probably gonna wrap this up really quickly. Hippie ends up going 24-11, so they win this game pretty handily. But that's it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you enjoy this breaking news and all of that sorts and stuff, please like and subscribe. Do whatever you want with this video. Share this video. Comment on this video. Tell me who's gonna win this game if you watch this video. And I'm gonna catch you guys up another time. See ya.
You made the entire CDP proud.